Hello, 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 everybody. How are you? Hello. Hey, JennLu.
Hey, good to see you, CrimeSleuthin.
How has your day been?
Busy.
Same. I had to run around and get new tires today, and it was kind of funny. I was watching the arraignment today for Ruby and Jodi while I was at the place getting my tires put on. Kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Were you? I got to it probably, I don't know, 15 minutes before it was supposed to start. And I watched it for a while until Law and Crime got kicked out of the WebEx, and then and then it was time for me to go live because Sarah Boone had her pretrial hearing today, so
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, welcome, JennLu.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. This will be pretty cool. Well, hello, AJ McCleary. Thank you for becoming a member. I honestly don't remember if you were before. She said, I thought I was a member already. Glad I noticed. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, let's say hi to a few people here real quick. Again, grab your Cheez-Its and drink and get comfy. We're about to do this thing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And please make sure to sub up to JennLu too. Her link is down in the description. And I didn't have a chance to put you in my Nightbot. There we go. Turn on the nice Nightbot for everybody.
It's sexy wild thing, Carol friggin' Claus.
Yes, hello. Yes, please hit that like button when you come in. I appreciate that very much. Music City Mom, hi, how are you doing? Ooh, clicking on the wrong thing here. This thing jumps around, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's hard. Hey, Music City Mom. Good to see you, babe. It's good to see everybody in the chat.
If you've come over from Jen's channel, welcome. Hello, Shani. How are you doing? Hi, Aries Bjork. How are you doing? Hi, Amelia. Good to see you.
Amelia Sparkles. Thanks for being here, babe.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, Mrs. M and Ellen C. Wow. Hi, everybody.
Mrs. M, hi. How you doing? My sweetheart Ellen, how are you?
Hey, okay, Ellen. I think Ellen was in my chat last night. She told me CrimeSleuthin sent me. I'm Fear from CrimeSleuthin. So thanks for that. I meant to add to my post to tell them Large Marge sent you. You know, because I always think that line from Pee Wee's Big Adventure is funny. Tell them Large Marge sent you. I always think that's so funny, and I always mean to add it, but then I forget every time.
Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play my intro and give a couple more minutes for people to join us while we I'll be in chat while we play this, and I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done.
Yes, here we go. I'm not as organized tonight as I normally am, and I'll tell you why. This case is absolutely freaking insane. There's no way to like put it together in any semblance of order because it doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. This lady had a great life. She had 6 beautiful children, a gorgeous mansion. And what does she do? I think she got obsessed with the money and the fame, and just her kids became inanimate objects or something. And it's just truly so sad to see what happened. And then on top of that, on top of, you've seen people that, become addicted to the internet and whatever, and start to neglect their children. Then in comes Jodi Hildebrandt and just completely destroyed everything that was already becoming unraveled, So we are going to try our best, y'all, to get this in a way that makes some sort of sense, but I'm telling you, it's awful. It's just awful. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with this over here. Let me go ahead and get my screen up here. All right, there we go. Okay, so if we go back many years, there were a lot of complaints going on about this channel a long, long time ago. When I look up, for example, reviews for even just Jodi, they go back 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. 4 years ago, somebody said, "She is not worthy to be trusted with your marriage or relationships. My wife went to her counseling and classes, and the main result was that Ms. Hildebrandt brainwashed my wife that I had an addiction when I did not. My wife was so certain that I was hiding something as a result of this woman's lies that we had to go to an honest counselor to help dispel this dishonesty that this woman had told my wife. Do not go to this woman. Go to a specialist who is not, what is that word that he was trying to say there? Misogynist?
Let me look. Hold on. Let me make it bigger.
He wrote misandrist, but I think he meant misogynist.
Yeah, misogynist.
Who respects both members of the marriage and does not spread so-called empowering lies. So this one says her license was on probation in 2012 for sharing client information. Now, it was ultimately revoked in, I believe, 2017, and that's when she started ConneXions. Unlicensed therapy. 6 years ago, 8 years ago, you guys, up to 8 years ago. Do not be fooled by Jodi Hildebrandt. It's just, and then we go to, their Facebook page is still up. The ConneXions page is still there.
Oh, wow.
grant is still there. And it goes all the way back to the beginning of her little business. Funny. Rid yourself of control. Oh, my word.
Wow.
So here's somebody who actually had been in ConneXions, and she wrote this long blog post about it. Shame-based learning, crazy making, using God to push their point, an environment that breeds codependency. She teaches against individuality. They talk bad about you behind your back, and ConneXions promotes cutting people out of your life. That was the best post that I found. I'm going to put the link to this one because it's so long. Usually when I have long stuff, I like to just post it. That way people can go read it, whenever you want. Let me check chat here. Hello, Tony. Hi, Cuddle Idaho. How are you ladies doing? Hey, Chris Melcher. Toxic, absolutely. Very, very toxic.
So when I was preparing to for this stream, because I've been hearing little things, once this happened, I it's kind of hard not to, right? But then I paid attention, but I wasn't super invested because I'm going to be quite honest. I haven't been really super invested in anything since I got the Leticia Stout case file. Those things are so interesting to read.
You're doing Sarah Boone as well, right?
Yes. But I got Sarah Boone. I got her. Like, there's nothing. I mean, the only thing that ever is new is what is her next letter going to read. You know what I mean? So that part, that Sarah, I can't even blame Boone. This was all Leticia. And, but anyway, I started like really watching stuff, and I tried to only watch like court TV or law and crime. But I did see there is a channel that I follow, and I don't know how you feel about channels. So I'm just going to say, I found there's a channel that I've been following, and I found this channel when I was covering the Lori Vallow Daybell trial, because the things that he talks about on this channel, it's basically people who have left the Mormon faith and what they go through, and just their different experiences when they, and this is their experience. I'm not saying one way or another whether the Mormon church is true, but this is basically what the channel is about. They talk about their experiences and what led up to them realizing that the church wasn't true. And he's covered this case, and he had Jodi's cousin on, and it was quite informative, actually, what she had to say. A lot of it was basically what the reviews say, that anything that she felt proud of as a person, like her art or school, was taken away from her. I guess her family felt that she wasn't what they wanted her to be. She was interested in art, and she was very devout as a Mormon, but she just was, she was at that age that everybody gets to when they're like trying to figure out who they are. And there was sort of no room for that kind of thing in her family, apparently. But anyway, Law and Crime clipped a little bit of her interview on this other channel, and it was really it gave a good insight into Jodi's methods. And it's kind of scary that she has such control over people.
Yes, it is scary. And by the way, I don't mind mentioning other channels. Go ahead and tell them what it was, because you told me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mormon. What is it? Oh, crap. Mormon podcasts? Is that what it is? Oh, crap. It's Mormon something podcast. I don't know what my brain is not right today, you guys. Actually, my brain hasn't been right since I cleaned the house on Labor Day. I think I got too much Fabulosa and like cleaning products. I was around them too much, and I think I might have done something to my brain. I don't know. But Mormon Stories, that's what it is. Mormon Stories podcast. I knew it would come to me.
Okay, so I went to the Utah State Court's website. You have to pay to access anything there, so I did. And just to get some screenshots and downloads. So let me see. This is Jodi's.
I'm going to put you on the TV so I can see better. It's hard to see on my phone.
Okay. And this one is Ruby's.
Wow, I can't believe that Utah makes you pay. Florida just gives it away for free.
I know. Same here in Oklahoma. You can get on there and get anything you want on anybody. So, yeah. Let's see. So that's Ruby's, and that one's hers. And they both have 6 counts. They're for how did I do this math? I had to go in and read each document to figure it out, and it cost you 50 cents just to read each document.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was said almost the same thing each one. They were all pretty much identical.
It's for each child, isn't it?
There's 2 children, 3 offenses each.
Okay.
So yeah, it was 2 children times 3 equals 6.
Okay.
That's what it is. It was really hard to kind of figure out. Now today they did have. Oh, I did so I wouldn't have to pay again. I did a screen record.
There you go. That's using your noodle.
Every time you go in there, I left once and I had to go back and I had to pay again. So I was like, oh crap. I learned real quick. I'm only going to pay once. So I did a quick screen record of the whole case. It's probably going to, I hope it doesn't show me using my credit card on here. Yep. So that one was 50 cents too. And it's just to look at the documents, and then you can, so I downloaded the ones that I pulled up. But yeah, you have to pay just to click on anything. You have to pay for every search, and you have to pay for each file that you look at. And then Jodi's as well. It's like, I think I spent $10 on that stupid website today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
why
I got
is there an echo?
So.
Do you hear that echo?
Okay, has it stopped?
Let me talk and see. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, that happens when I go full screen.
Oh, wow.
When I share what's called my entire screen, and then I go full screen.
Oh.
I don't know why it does that on my computer.
Why don't you just share the window?
Yeah, I need to just do that. Because sometimes I like to switch between tabs, like this.
Oh, yeah. And that does make it harder. You do have to.
You just turn it off and reshare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do whatever's easiest. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, it does cause a little bit of an echo, unfortunately.
Okay. I just thought I didn't want it to be. I just thought maybe something was going on my end.
No, it's me. I should have known when I do that. That's what happens. All right. Mormon Stories podcast. Yes. Okay. Please like. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so today was the arraignment hearing. Let's see. Have you guys all heard? I don't know if you've seen it either. Have you listened to the 911 call?
I heard, yes, I did hear the 911 call. However,
With the neighbor?
Yes. One thing that I have not heard is the dispatch traffic. Apparently, that's also very interesting, but I'm not exactly sure where we would find that. I know Ikadmel played it because I saw it in the title, but that's not helpful for you.
Well, So today I watched the arraignment, and
Okay.
I got some clips. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for everybody.
Okay.
Let me see if I can figure out how to make it. You know what? Let's just make this easy. I'm going to stop sharing.
I can just mute.
Oh, no. It's not you. It's me. Everybody in chat was hearing the echo too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to share the window. Hang on. Let me get this down so I can see where I'm at. Let's try this. Let's see. Okay, let me know if there's any echo.
Nope, no echo. But there's also no sound. I don't know if you're playing anything.
Oh, darn it. All right, hang on.
I forget to do it too.
I can share just a video file. That's right. Well, no, I don't like doing that because then you can't stop it when you want to. All right.
No, you have no control.
Yeah, I hate that. All right, here we go.
No, still nothing.
Very good.
There
So
it goes.
Miss Frankie, I do. He is on the video with us. Okay. Ruby, Frankie. Afternoon, Mr. Winward. How are you? Very good.
Hello, MK.
So you represent Miss Frankie? I do. He is on the video with us. Okay. Miss Frankie, can you hear me?
Yes,
Have you received a copy of the information in this case?
yes,
I can inform the court that Ms. Frankie and I have both reviewed verbatim the information.
And just so y'all know, I don't want to get in trouble, so I don't play all of the video, just some clips here with screenshots, just so you know.
She understands it. She has pertinent questions. We would waive the reading of that at this time. And we're ready to move forward with it. I would make one motion. I understand that the co-defendant is assigned to Judge Walton. My case is assigned to Judge Barnes. I would make an oral motion today to transfer this case to Judge Walton so that co-defendants track each other. Okay. What's the state's position on that motion?
Your Honor, we have a motion that we filed shortly after filing the information in this case. We'll withdraw that motion. It was just vice versa. So we'll withdraw that motion and stipulate to Mr. Winward's motion.
So do I have a stipulation today? Nan Hildebrandt, matter today. I just let the court know and I've let counsel know I will be out of the country on that date. And so I will work with Judge Walton's court and counsel to modify that as necessary. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Winward. Anything else from the state? Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ms. Frankie. That's all for today. I'll be talking to you a little bit later. The next hearing on the calendar is State of Utah versus Jodi Nan Hildebrandt, 2315011763.
We're getting it right now, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Foxfire. Welcome.
Come and see it here. We'll talk to your judge.
Good afternoon. Are you Jodi Nan Hildebrand?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Terry, you're entering an appearance in this case today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. As going to be in place for now, we're going to set this case for a review hearing in front of Judge Walton on the same date and time as the previous case.
Okay, so I'm going to upload this video for later. I try to get through stuff like that pretty quick. But so basically today, let me get my notes. They moved them both to Judge Walton, no bail. And so they're transferring the case over to a Judge Walton, no bail. And the next hearing is September 21st. And I think that's just going to be a status conference. I don't think anything is going to happen at that date. Okay, so don't know if you guys have heard the 911 call. I don't know if the people in here have or not. I'm going to play some of it. Go up here. It helps to remember. I mean, I've got the entire hearing like recorded, but I cut it down to just a little bit, you know?
Those were the important parts.
Yeah.
Although, did Ruby Frank's, oh, now it's echoing. I hate my voice.
Is it really echoing again now?
Hold on, let me talk. No, I'm okay. Okay, did Ruby, did you get the part where Ruby Frankie's attorney wanted her to be able to get out on bail, and the reason why is because she has some type of life-threatening illness or some such nonsense?
Yeah, and the judge was like, nope.
Which I found interesting given the state her children were in. That made me mad.
I'm trying to not cuss. I hope that they're both enjoying being confined the way they did these children.
Right. Did I cuss? I don't think I cussed,
No,
did I?
No. You're
Okay,
fine
good.
if you do. I'm trying not to, but it's probably not going to last very long. Here we go.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Okay.
And he asked us to call the police.
What's
So
his
he's
name?
very afraid. He's 12 years old.
Are the neighbors out of their home, or is anybody looking for them that you can see?
No. Our homes are far enough away. I'm not sure. How did you get out of the house?
Porch. He went out.
He says he just left through the porch at the neighbor's house. Her name is Jodi Hildebrand, and she lives 2 doors up the street.
Out here in
Yeah, out here in Cayenne, the houses are far apart, so he walked just under a block to get to our house. He rang my doorbell and asked me to call the police, but he's very thirsty and
need an ambulance?
I don't think he needs an ambulance. I'll let the cops decide that, but his ankles are taped up and he won't tell us why.
Okay.
But he has duct taped around each ankle. Yeah, there's sores around them. I think there's a good chance he's been oh, and he has them around his ankles. I mean, his wrists as well. Okay, this boy has been this kid has obviously been, I think he's been He's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
That's all I can take of that one again.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard to it's hard to hear that the 911 caller as he's discovering, you know, the situation and how sad he is. I mean, you know, because you don't, it's just awful. It's just absolutely awful. And so I just can't imagine. Nothing she said would make sense, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to know what she has to say for herself, but at the same time, like, I know it's going to just irritate me because it's not going to, you know, nothing would ever explain any of this.
Yeah, none of it. They can't, there's no explanation for what they did. There's no excuse. Right after that, he tells this man that what happened to him was his own fault. He's been conditioned and brainwashed to believe that when he got tied up, duct taped, trapped in the bathroom like his little sister was, that was a punishment and he deserved it. And it's just sick.
It is.
And these two people, y'all, they were putting out parenting classes. I'm going to show you.
Yes.
Right here. Look at that. Freaking parenting classes. Being a parent is hard. Teaching children all they need to know to succeed in life is a big task. You don't have to take it alone. Just add duct tape is what it should have said right there. Connect meaningfully. Oh, you mean like with duct tape?
Right, exactly. I cannot imagine a scenario where anybody would ever suggest using duct tape for anything having to do with discipline or for a child at all, period. Like, I just cannot understand. I cannot get my brain around this. Look
at this title. Week 1, Keeping Kids Connected. You okay? What you mean with ropes and duct tape?
What does it say under that? What's the crux of keeping kids connected?
Connection is the central spiritual and emotional need of every human being. Connection is an outcome of being impeccably, emotionally honest, assertive, responsible, humble, transparent, open, and vulnerable.
How can you be assertive and humble at the same time?
I've noticed that she has buzzwords that she uses all the time. One of them is humble. One of them is distortion. Addictions. She calls almost everything an addiction. Fruits of a person. Week 2. Oh, here we go. Growing up. Truth and distortion. That is a main theme in everything that I have seen with them. And I mean, she's not even licensed and she's putting this crap out.
I mean, listen, I understand. I raised kids. I've raised 4. And I help raise my nephews. Raising children is not an easy job, okay? It is a full-time job, and it is hard, and it is thankless, but it's also really, it's not all misery, you know? Their kids are wonderful. They make you laugh. They, seeing them learn something new or master something, like learning to ride a bike, and the pride they take when they accomplish something that they've set out to do. But it doesn't come with a manual, you know? There's no... and I think that people are so worried all of the time that they're not doing it right, that they seek out people who you would think, and I think, but based on what she says on her, like her LinkedIn and her website or whatever, that they're seeking professional guidance. And this is just... I cannot imagine a scenario where a professional would ever tell you that using duct tape on your child to restrain them in any way, shape, or form is a good parenting choice. I just, and I feel like she just she saw a niche for people who are struggling to raise their kids and doubting that they're doing it right, and sought professional help, and this is what they got. Can you imagine? I just can't.
No, I can't. I can't even imagine. So for anybody that's not familiar, the Frankie family started years ago as like a family vlogger thing on YouTube, but they were also members of the LDS church. And so there's been a lot coming out about, where was that one? Oh, I forgot about this. I'm going to go back to that in just a second. And it just took over basically. So that website that I just had up, it has podcasts and videos, support groups for moms, homeschooling. It's just crazy. But like in the wake of Ruby and Jodi getting arrested, more concerning things have been coming out. Sherry, the daughter, has a Google spreadsheet up. I put it in my last live that you can go add to it. And I have been adding clips from there. Let's see. There's a couple of really, really good YouTubers who have been, people have been yelling it to the off the rooftops for at least 3 years, trying to get help for those kids. And nobody
I've
has
just
helped.
never been a fan of the family vlogging channels. It's just not my thing. Like it's not but I've also heard nothing but horror stories too. How exploitative they are for the children, how it's, it takes 11 billion takes for them to get the thing just right. It's not real reality where,
Right.
It's edited, it's distorted.
Exactly.
And the pressure on these kids to get the take correctly is astronomical, and they have no say in it.
So what do you think of MK's comment?
What did MK write?
JennLu, especially, exactly. She probably influenced a lot of young parents with this garbage.
I agree.
She did.
I agree. I think that
there's probably other abused children out there right now because of her.
Oh, I'm sure. We've all been to the grocery store, right? And we've all seen a mom by herself, usually with more than one child, and one child is having a meltdown because kids do that. That's part of it. And she's struggling. And she probably, that she's embarrassed. And, those are the kinds of people or parents that are, what's the word I'm looking for? Vulnerable and susceptible to this kind of, there's no magic key to children. This is what I don't understand about this whole thing. Kids are humans. They're all individual, right? So what works for one is not going to work for another child. Exactly. You have to be adaptable.
For me, I had learned this concept of finding their currency, and that is figuring out what they value, and you can take those things away. That works so well with all of mine, but it wasn't the same currency for each child, Like my oldest, if you took his video games away, he would freak out. He would straighten up. That was a big deal to take his video games away. But you could take his phone, you could take other stuff away from him. He didn't care. But so that was his currency. And then with my daughter, it was you can't go play with your friends. And
right.
And then with my youngest boy, for him, it was me just looking at him like I was so sad and disappointed. That's all that it took with him. He was still my sweetest boy. I love him. And now with my 12-year-old, with her, it's her phone. It's definitely her phone. But that doesn't mean taking away like privileges like that. Those are privileges, right?
Right.
Taking away food, taking away their bed. Those are not privileges. That's our job.
They don't even take that away in prison, y'all. In prison, you are guaranteed 3 hots and a cot.
Yeah.
And that's what we give we give those to criminals as part of their rights. Like, it's just something that they get, right? We don't, I don't understand. I cannot get my brain wrapped around. And listen, I know that there's all kinds of different parenting choices. Okay. I come from an old school. I'm Gen X. I was raised in the 80s, where we had to be Saturday morning, you got the heck out of the house because mom was going to clean, and you stayed gone. My mom always knew where we were, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we just had a different level of freedom. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't any safer in the 80s than it was now. It's just we hear about it more now with kidnappings and stuff like that. But anyway, that's not the point. And that's how I was raised. Okay. I got spanked. I did not raise my children. I took some things that my parents taught me and that I was raised with, and I kept those going, but I got rid of some stuff. I didn't spank. Spanking doesn't work. But I found their currency. I will say the one currency that all 4 of my little heathens had was the Wi-Fi. I could get them to straighten up and fly right. All I had to do was change the Wi-Fi password.
Amen. Yeah.
That's all I had to do.
Yeah. Here, like, when she comes home from school, she knows she's got to do her chores real quick, and then I'll hand her her phone. And she does them really good. And I don't even have to check. She knows exactly what to do. All she has to do is just a couple of things in the kitchen, a couple of the things around the house, just to pitch in, Right. They should pitch in. They should pitch in. And that is one parenting mistake that I made, because I was a stay-at-home mom. And I was just talking about this with my son today. The one mistake, I made more than one, obviously, but let's just talk about this one. We don't have all night. Was I was a stay-at-home mom. And so the mistake that I made was cleaning their rooms for them, because my mom worked. And so me and my sister, we helped. We vacuumed, we did, my mom did the laundry and we put the laundry away, but we all, it was me, my mom, and my sister. And my dad lived in the home, but he didn't, his job was the yard. So anyway, we did the house, but I didn't know how to navigate being a stay-at-home mom. And I felt guilty asking them to clean if the house is my job. Do you see what I'm saying? And that was a huge mistake. Yeah. Now, by the time I got to the 4th one, I feel like my older 3 were like my practice kids. Then when I had my youngest, who just graduated high school, I was different with her because I had learned a thing or two from the other 3. So she's way less screwed up than the other 3 are, I have to say. I kid. You kid, okay. I kid. I'm sure I probably, I don't know. I probably did do something unintentionally, and I'm sure someday I'll hear about it. But yeah. So I'm gonna play a clip here. Let's see. Okay. So Corey put a comment in chat. I'm so sorry, Corey. So listen to what Jodi has to say about people who've suffered abuse, suffered trauma, and live with PTSD.
What you're telling me is that you have not gotten into the truth. Or maybe you don't want to tell yourself the truth. Maybe you have told yourself the truth, but you really don't want to stay in the truth. Maybe you like being a victim. Maybe you like the attention you get from being a victim. I don't know what your particular case is, but the question.
Maybe you like the attention. Maybe you like being the victim. Did she really just say that?
Yeah, she did. I'm like floored. I'm already annoyed and irritated with her. Just
Yeah.
Was, if I have PTSD and I keep getting triggered, is that a destroyed fear? And the answer is yes. Because it's not the truth today. It's not the truth.
There's her buzzword, the truth. Hello, Allie. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. And welcome.
Look, she's not okay. It's how she's putting it. So the truth of the matter is, PTSD is because of something that happened prior. It's not happening in the now. So in a way, she's sort of right. But the thing of it is, you don't treat PTSD by shaming somebody. What you do is you teach them what it is, how to identify it, and then coping mechanisms. You don't just shame them. I've just never heard of anything. This lady is ridiculous. Who's listening to her? Scary.
Hundreds and thousands of people were listening to her. Hey, Butterfly Kisses, welcome. So AJ says, none of us moms were perfect. Kids don't come with handbooks, but some things are just common sense, decency, and caring. So
she's
true.
right. You're right. I wasn't raised this way, but because I wasn't, and it did affect me. I told my kids all the time, I love you today. I will love you tomorrow. I will always love you. Nothing you will ever do will make me not love you. I will always be your biggest fan. I always told my kids that. I even told my kids, even if I was not your mom, I would still want to know you. Okay, that is as mushy as I'm going to get for the night.
Okay, here's the next one. This was the very last video that Kevin was in before he disappeared off of ConneXions.
A very common misconception that's unfortunately supported by much of the psychological community today is this idea that we truly are victims to things like addiction, to things like narcissism, or whatever the diagnosis label is. In other words, in our minds, we believe that addiction is this lion that's lurking out there, and it finds a victim and it prances on it, and now that's a victim of addiction. Or the same with narcissism or any of these labels. And the truth is that addictive behavior is a result of consistent choices that are not made in truth. And that individual can choose to stop making those choices. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy. I look at you, Curtis, and I think, man, that was a lot of effort and work and stumbling and picking yourself back up and going and going and going. It was a ton of work, but you did it. You chose it. And I also had many addictions that I was choosing in my life that I needed. If I wanted recovery, I needed to stop choosing them. I was no victim to them. And so if you're in the other side of a relationship where you're saying my spouse is addicted to X or Y, and you are viewing that and saying that in the sense of my poor spouse, I want to support my spouse, you are enabling your spouse. Mm-hmm. You're pouring gasoline on a fire. And the best...
I can't listen to him anymore. People have come out defending him. And I get it. People always want a child to stay with at least one parent. But he is just as bad. He's just as bad. Now, he moved out of the house in the fall, so he wasn't around for the summer. His attorney came out and did an interview yesterday on Cuomo, and his attorney said, oh, I wasn't there. He wasn't there. He didn't see any of this abuse that happened that they got arrested for. Okay, but he saw everything before. He was there. And I could play all the clips that I played on my last live, but y'all can go back and see those, where he was right there in the camera when she was threatening to cut the head off of little Eve's teddy bear.
Oh, I saw that.
He can't say that he didn't know the bad things were happening.
Well,
okay, so
I'm kind of curious because what the part of the 911 call that you didn't play, and listen, I don't blame you. That's a hard 911 call to hear.
yeah.
But the child that escaped was described as emaciated. Emaciation does not happen overnight. So to say you weren't around is not really it doesn't absolve you of anything.
Exactly. Yeah, and why
because saying that you weren't around actually is maybe saying I didn't witness all of the abuse firsthand. That might be one thing, but to say I wasn't around means where were you when this was after the fact? How often did you see these kids? Did you check on them?
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be a reason you left that home. It's because things weren't working out, right? Things weren't so great, were they? So you bounced. I can't.
So the two of them had quite a reputation together, and they were quite well known for their homophobic beliefs. So this one is telling people that if you're gay, you can change.
Is your husband upset? Are you upset? Yes, you are. It's not just about that he's made this declaration. It's also that you've been being lied to. Your hard-earned, the evidence of how you've been taking care of him, like the money you've spent, the roof over his head, the work that both of you've done to give him the things that will make his life comfortable. He has exploited all of those things. And
So one little quick comment before I continue this one. You notice how she put necessities as things to take away? You know, taking care of them, putting the roof over their head, the money that you've spent on them. Like the child owes you something for that. It's ridiculous.
Right. Like when they turn 18, are you going to hand them a bill?
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
But she goes on to blame the parent here for their child coming out to them.
Has been going places that are very dangerous and destructive to his little soul. Now, if he's an adult or when he becomes adult and he chooses to behave in whatever lifestyle he chooses to behave in, that is absolutely his agency to do so. However, when he's a child, when he's inside your home, and if he's in your home until he's 27, whenever he is in your home, he is to abide and be obedient by your rules in your home, by your expectations in your home. You are the guardian of your home. You are the gatekeeper of your home. And your son and your other son are to follow what it is that you ask them to do inside your home. Your job is to guide them in principles of truth. And your responsibility is to be really clear about principles of truth. And it sounds like you have thought you were teaching principles by going to church. I don't know what the rest of your life is like. I don't know how connected you guys are. I don't know if you talk about truth. I don't know if you talk about response. I don't know all the details. And it sounds like there hasn't been a lot of that kind of discussion. And if there has, good for you. This young man has just chosen to be defiant. And in today's world.
So if your child is gay and tells you that they're gay, they're just being defiant. Really? This is a 16-year-old boy that came to his mom and told her. And this is what she's telling this mom in response to that. Yes, she's stupid. So stupid.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to this. I mean, I can't.
I believe she goes on to say that she should kick the child out, and that she should be strong in doing that. There's another one here that she did on, let's see, okay. Here's one about immigrants.
Wow.
And these people are not victims, by the way. I just want you to see that. The people who are coming across the border illegally, they know what they're doing is illegal. It's illegal, like stealing stuff from a store, illegal. They're coming into America illegally. And so they're not victims. So don't feel sorry for the people who are being moved around the country. But there's other comments from the other side who are allowing these borders to be open when they're in front of their house. They're like, this is so horrible that you are demoralizing human beings and using them as political pawns. It's like, no, you want them in here so you can use them as a political pawn so that they'll vote for you and all sorts of other reasons you want them in here. You're using them as a political pawn.
That's what DeSantis was doing. He's putting in front, literally in front of where Biden lives. Here are your choices.
Here are your choices. Here they are.
Let me reflect to you.
Juan and Jose and Esmeralda.
And they're all there.
Because every Hispanic is named Juan and Jose and Esmeralda. Really? I don't even want to do the rest of that one either. It's sickening.
Well, I mean, the fact is I'm Mexican, so yeah, that's extra highly offensive to me.
Extremely. Yeah, I'm white as hell and I'm offended.
I mean, the truth of the matter is she has no idea the desperation. They're not doing it just 'cause. It's not like you can just walk across the border. Okay, that's not even how it works. It's dangerous. I used to work with a woman who immigrated from El Salvador. So she immigrated from El Salvador to Mexico and then from Mexico to the United States. As a woman alone with her child, she walked miles and miles and miles, and all she wanted was a safer place to raise her child. Like,
right.
She wasn't coming over here to, do anything illegal. She wasn't, I don't want to, that's just a very touchy subject for this girl. So I should just.
Well, I need to say this one comes with a trigger warning. Okay. I can't wait for your reaction on this one, girl. Cause this was my reaction to this one when I played this one. There we go. Yeah, this one really made me mad. Okay, here we go. Trigger warning, this is not nice.
So if you don't want to have a baby, then do not use your agency to engage in sexual contact. Now, I know that nobody talks about that anymore. Like nobody. I don't hear that from anyone, like abstinence. That used to be around when I was a kid, abstinence. But nobody says that anymore because everybody feels like they have a right to just do whatever they want. And then they have these consequences, these outcomes of STDs or pregnancy or rape. And they don't want to take any responsibility for their participation in it. Now, when I say rape, what I'm talking about is you engage in a sexual relationship and then you may say, stop. And the person's like, I'm not stopping. I'm going to take what I want. I'm not talking about like someone attacks you and forces you. I'm talking about your participation. And then at some point you say, I don't want to do this anymore. And, because the person you're with just says, I don't care what you want. because that's the kind of person you've chosen to hook up with. So, Mom, I am saying this with so much love to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead. Let it out. We're here for it. Let it out.
Okay, listen, lady, when you have to start off a sentence with, I'm saying this with so much love to you, you know the next thing that's going to come out of your mouth is fucked up. And it doesn't come from a place of love, because the sentences that you said prior to that are also thrown off and don't come from a place of love. Listen, lady, it's a good thing that you're not running the show anywhere, because I hate to break it to you, but the law is not on your side in this situation. If I am making out with a guy and I say I don't want to anymore, I don't have to anymore. Just because I started doesn't mean I have to finish. I'm not obligated. So get bent, bitch. And the fact that you are spreading this kind of bullshit, sorry, I'm cussing way too much. The fact that
No,
you're
you're
spreading
fine.
this level of BS far and wide, and there are people out there who maybe they did say no, and now they already felt shame to begin with, and now you've made it worse. How about the other person take accountability for what they're doing?
Yeah.
Why don't they use their agency to respect somebody's wishes? It's kind of like, when you go to a restaurant, right? You purchase a meal, okay? Do you think the manager comes out and chastises you because you didn't finish your meal? You think they come out and say to you, why do you need a doggy bag? Why did you order something so big if you weren't going to eat it? That doesn't happen.
It's like the same thing. They also taught a lot about modesty, extreme modesty, like they couldn't be in cheer and things like that, where there were short skirts and all that. That's not allowed. Ruby wouldn't even allow anybody at her house to wear an unmodest bathing suit.
There's no such thing. Let me just say this before I wanted to get back to what the husband said.
Wise Angel UK. Wait until she's in prison sharing a dorm with a lesbian woman or 3. Amen.
Right. Wait till you meet your big boo.
This is JennLu, the word case studies. Somebody put her name up here. Would one of my mods please get her link for me? Right there. I don't have her link though. Welcome, OCD Shaggy. How are you? Here we go. This bitch is a effing idiot. She's an extremist and needs to be banned from any social media accounts. She's spreading nonsensical propaganda. Well, she's going to be doing the same crap from inside prison now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Good luck to you. You should really try spreading this bullshit propaganda while you're in the clink.
Yeah, I guarantee. I don't believe that they're in the Gen Pop. Ruby
they will
is
be.
On, I guess. I think it's
they
Ruby.
will be eventually. Yeah, she's in the med ward apparently, or there's some kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eventually, they will be in general population, and even if they're not in gen population, they're in protected custody. I will tell you this: my dad used to work. My dad is a dialysis nurse, and when he was just starting out, he did a rotation at the prisons. And he told me, he was like, all that stuff you hear about how the chomos get it in prison, and I was like, yeah. And he said it's absolutely true. Because he would go in there to give dialysis, and the chomos would come in every single week with fresh bruises. So you can be in protective custody, you can be segregated as much as you want, but it's prison and things happen, and that's how it goes. And I'm not wishing that on anybody, but I'm just saying, just go ahead and you should get up on your bunk there and pretend that's your pulpit and start espousing that baloney to the women, because I guarantee you there's at least 1 or 2 women that are in that jail right now, purgatory, which is very fitting, who are awaiting trial because they have been abused and they fought back and they ended up, unaliving the person, but they're still on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ridiculous. And then when her ex-husband was talking about, the psychological school of thought, how psychologists and the psychological school of thought comes to be is from studying actual human behavior. So it doesn't happen overnight. So when people talk about addiction and addictive behavior and all that stuff, when they're talking about it from a psychological standpoint, and it's also physical, idiot.
MK had a really good point up here. He said that's like saying a woman who got SA'd shouldn't have been wearing that or something. Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly like saying that. It's exactly like saying, well, you kissed him and you just wanted to stop at the kiss. Too bad, so sad. It's not, he didn't do anything wrong. If you wouldn't have kissed him in the first place, none of this would happen.
Can you imagine how many young ladies or women in general heard that and then didn't report what happened to them?
Exactly. And there's already a problem with that in the world. SA by somebody that is familiar to the victim is so underreported that that's why when stuff like with Danny Masterson, I'll give that as an example, women started coming out and telling their story, because it only takes one woman to say that he did it to me. And you will always have, not always, but a lot of times you will have several victims, because there is this kind of baloney being put out that it's you kissed him, you started it, it's your own fault. And so it gets unreported. I just can't. I cannot. It's been a long time since I've heard this amount of bigotry and ignorance come out of one person's mouth in almost everything. Well, everything that she said.
And look right here. Carrie says, I heard that and didn't report. And then AJ, exactly why I never told anyone about oh my word, AJ.
I'm sorry.
Carrie and AJ, my God, I'm so sorry.
To carry that around, I'm sorry that happened to you.
For anybody to tell you that it was your fault in any way, they're full of shit. That's wrong. That's so wrong.
Yes. It's wrong.
So this is the article today on the hearing that was today. Let's see. So the other minor children are still in state custody. Utah Division of Family and Child Services hearing was held Thursday to determine where the children would be placed. Not available to media. Let's see. Oh, it's Jodi. No, yeah, it is Ruby. Ruby's in the isn't this appropriate? She's in the Purgatory Correctional Facility.
It's where your ass need to be.
Yeah, she can stay there until she dies, and then she can go straight to hell. So let's see.
I have to say, I'm noticing some themes that are sounding very, very familiar. Some words that they are using, specifically the capitalization of truth. That is a very familiar theme to a different situation, a different case. I think when Anjanette Levy asked the local reporter that question today, I think she was spot on asking that question.
Well,
I
they
think
use a
that
lot of. Go ahead.
sorry. I think that there is a huge element of religious beliefs and teachings from the Mormon Bible that are I shouldn't say the Mormon Bible. What do they call it? It is the Mormon Bible, isn't that what they call it? The Book of Mormon. A lot of teachings and stuff that are coming from the Book of Mormon. I'm noticing a lot of familiar sayings, particularly truth. The truth being capitalized with a capital T. That's something that when I was looking into, Lori and Chad and all that stuff, that the word truth capitalized like that was a common theme.
Amelia, I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Amelia.
It sucks. Yeah, cult-like conversation words. Exactly. So yeah, I played with some of the words that she uses a lot in her videos. Principle, natural consequences, living in truth, and inevitable pain, she says. So I said, due to the principle of natural consequences, Ruby and Jodi are now living in real truth and experiencing inevitable pain in jail.
Correct. But
okay, so
the principles, stuff like that, is a common theme in the Mormon religion. And listen, I'm not blaming. I want to be very, very clear about this. I'm not blaming the Mormon religion.
Oh, absolutely.
People have a way of taking something that they hear, and it can be anything, and twisting it. So this is not
it's the
to
same
blame.
as it's the exact same thing that happened after 9/11, where people were just completely terrified of anybody who was Islam and Islamic, I should say. And it comes from a place of ignorance. It really, really does. It just comes from racism, bigotry, anti-Semitism. All of those come from a place of ignorance, every one of them. So let's talk really quick about, because I didn't plan to use it or anything, but I was telling JennLu before we started that I had, there's been a lot of buzz about all the chaos that happened before the hearing today. I probably should have started with this this would have been a good place to start, but that's okay. So before it started, I was in there for quite a while, and it was nuts, you guys. I mean, people were talking crap about these people and playing nasty songs and just fighting with each other. It was bad. So I'm going to play a little bit of it. I wrote down some timestamps, so I'll be able to skip around here. Let's go right. Hold on. Okay. I clipped this part down. I think I was in there for like 2 hours. I clipped this one down to an hour. All right, so first one is at 5 minutes. Let me go to 5 minutes.
For the general public to be able to go on mute. Did because Ruby's been shutting freaking cameras and faces for their whole life. So her
shut up! Stop. And everyone all mute. No, I want
for how long on the film than they would in the four. Oh. When?
Yeah.
Mute yourself. Oh.
Mute yourself.
It's there. Chat.
Hearing. Oh. Shut up. Yourself.
So So this started when everybody started flooding in. It was really quiet for about an hour, and then once they started letting more people in, it went crazy. So that was a little bit of it, and then at 6:50, I didn't write a note, so I don't know what happens at 6:50. Really, it only lets me do. Oh, okay. I have to go this way and then go back. Okay.
Shut the fuck up!
Oh, wow. Some people came in with their whole government names. Oh, my God.
Right. Did you see my name? I chose CS. Oh, my God. I can't talk now. CS News Observer. Okay,
Protect your anonymity. My God.
Yeah, no way I'm using my real name anywhere. Okay, 2535. All right.
Mute yourself, and we'll get started as soon as we can.
Mama.
I'm also not seeing the cameras. What part of mute yourself was unclear? I'm seeing y'all not being muted.
Mama. Here's the mama that everybody was hearing on Long
Crime. Oh, yeah. We heard it a bunch.
Okay, 20. I'm just going to let it play because it's coming up.
Okay.
Well, of course, it would get quiet. One moment.
Certified free, 7 days a week.
Turn that off.
You guys not fucking understand if you fuck around like this, they're gonna kick up out of this meeting.
Aren't you the one talking to, you dumb cunt?
So
Shut
please,
the fuck up.
please fucking respectfully stop talking and turn off your cameras.
Respectfully shut the fuck up.
It'll start in an hour. You can check the fucking timer. It'll start in an hour. Just be patient and wait.
Shut up.
Guys, just watch Josh That Challenge podcast.
Y'all are really immature.
Okay, so yeah, it got crazy. There was more, but and then we finally got to the hearing.
I can't get mad. I can't get mad at somebody playing Cardi B. I like Cardi B. I don't care. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but can't get mad at that music choice. I do love though when somebody starts out a sentence with, I'm fucking asking you respectfully if you could please fucking shut up. That's the best. That's the most fucking respectful thing I've ever fucking heard.
And what was it that you said earlier? This is why.
Oh yeah, I put in the Law and Crime channel a chat when this was. I know. Trigger warning for MK. He knows why. I put in the law and crime chat. This is why we can't have nice things. And it's true. This is exactly why we can't have nice things, because people don't know how to act. They don't act. I mean, they had 1,000 people in there and 27 of them had no home training. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad. It was so embarrassing. I mean, several of us were thinking, well, a couple of people said it. I was just thinking it. I was muted the entire time. But a couple other people spoke up and they were like, if you guys don't shut up, they're going to kick us all out of here. And nobody's going to get to watch, you know? And that's so true.
It is true.
But they could have prevented it, like we were talking about. They could have prevented it by having it set on auto mute for everybody.
Right. Right. But I mean, but bless her heart, the clerk was in there talking about, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. You know, like she was trying to be the consummate professional. And you'd think that. So I don't know how many of you guys have ever used WebEx, but I will tell you that the minute you click the link to the actual WebEx meeting, not the app or whatever, but once you get to the meeting part, the first thing it tells you, especially when it's a courtroom, is that you're to treat the WebEx meeting as if you were in the courtroom. And you're supposed to be respectful. And, you know, technology has come a long way. And I think for some people, it's made them smarter. But I think for some other people, it's made them dumber.
Yeah,
because, you know,
respect.
Exactly. You know that they would not walk up in a courtroom with two bailiffs there who are armed, by the way, and act that way.
Hi, hippie chick. Wise
And
Angels says
sorry.
Bullhorn Betty wasn't in that chaos, was she? That wouldn't surprise me a bit.
I mean, it bothers me because, like, this case is incredibly tragic, but it's also something that it's not YouTube's fault. Okay, I want to be clear about that. You know, it's not. I'm not blaming YouTube, but I find this case interesting because of the aspect of social media and how much of a presence they were with their YouTube channel. I mean, they had over 2 million followers. That is not easy to do. And I would like to be able to follow this case. And there are a ton of other cases that I'd like to be able to follow. But if stuff like this keeps happening, the fact of the matter is, yes, we are afforded the right to witness a trial. That is part of it, but that's in person. There's nothing in nothing in the laws that say that the courts have to use, you know, streaming services or cameras in the courtroom or anything like that. The only thing that we are afforded as citizens of the United States is to watch a trial, but in person. The way that they are doing it is like a luxury. And it's not something that other countries do. And it's stuff like this that messes it up for everybody. Like, I know that for every person that was in there acting a fool, there are 5 or 6 people in there who were genuinely interested in hearing this, genuinely interested in watching the trial process, right? The court process. And these jackasses are going to wreck it. And this is why we can't watch the trial in Idaho.
Yeah, like most of us were in there because we wanted to hear that judge say no bail. You know, we actually heard the 911 calls. We've researched it. We see what these people are, and we took it seriously.
Right.
Megan, hello, hippie chick. Hi, Amy Bond. Hello.
And you know what else I think? I bet.
Look at
because
this
you
one.
guys. Okay.
Amy says, hello. So excited to see them looking disheveled in prison, wallowing in their own distortion. I love it, Amy.
Yes. I'll say this, because Ruby had amassed such a following on YouTube, okay, before she canceled her channel and then started up another one with Jodi over here. It's always a damn Jodi. That's why I thought I had it wrong, because I was thinking, is her name? I thought earlier today, I thought her name was Jill, because when I said Jodi, it felt wrong. I don't know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But there are probably people who were in there today in that WebEx who have followed this family and saw when it became problematic, when there was extreme parenting, abuse, etc., right, going on. And they were probably the people that were just waiting for the authorities to catch on to what was going on, probably years ago. Do you know what I mean? And they were probably in there to hear that too. And again, the other thing that people that really irritates me about that whole behavior in the WebEx is this is a case about children who were abused. It's about kids. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Respectfully. I don't get it. Oh, this is a good question, CrimeSleuthin. Maybe you know the answer to this because I do not. Hold on, let me find it. OCD Shaggy says, has the older child said anything about abuse from the father? I've not heard anything. Have you?
I have not. I have heard, and this is a complete rumor, I don't know for sure. I heard that Chad is with his father. I don't think that Sherry is. I think Sherry's with other family that are not living in truth.
Mm.
So this is one of the documents that I downloaded today, the probable cause statement.
Oh, I heard this was awful.
It is. Well, it's basically the 911 call just written out. The 12-year-old male climbed out of the window of the Ivan's residence belonging to Jodi Hildebrandt and ran to a neighbor's home. RF knocked on the door requesting food and water. The neighbor observed duct tape on his ankles and wrists and contacted law enforcement. Upon arrival, law enforcement observed the wounds and the malnourishment of RF to be severe, and he was transported to the St. George Regional Hospital. RF, I'm just going to say Russell because everybody knows his name.
Well, can I say something really quick before I forget it?
Yes,
just
absolutely.
To put this into context for you guys, if you're not all that familiar, because I wasn't. This where he started out, which was at Jodi Hildebrandt's house, right, and then got to the neighbor. It's not like he ran next door. They live very, very far apart, and this kid was barefoot.
Yeah,
and it is summertime. Yeah, it's hot. And he was hungry and thirsty. Do you know how desperate he had to be? And he took a risk doing that. You know how scared that little baby must have been. And he did it to get help.
And on the 911 call, you can hear them state that Jodi was in her car driving around looking for him. She would have found him and drug him back to the house and tied him up again.
Yes. Can you imagine if the fates had not aligned? And that neighbor, what if that neighbor hadn't have been home? And he had to go to another neighbor's house. And in the interim between, you know what I'm saying? Like this could have, this is just, it's so sad. It's just so sad. And then to hear people behave like that on a WebEx makes me, although I mean, I do like Cardi B, but still not the right time or place.
Right. Okay, Russell was placed on a medical hold due to his deep lacerations from being tied up with rope and from his malnourishment. Jodi Hildebrandt was found to be in direct care of Russell as he was staying in her home. In Jodi's bathroom, I located gauze, which had been used. This observation adds to Ms. Hildebrandt's knowledge of the abuse in the home. Ms. Hildebrandt requested a lawyer and did not speak with us. Once given her charges, Ms. Hildebrandt, I'm just going to call her Jodi. Jodi Bish is what I call her. Jodi Bish informed me that Eve and Russell should never be allowed around any other kids. With this information and the belief that Jodi Bish had knowledge of the malnourished, abuse, and neglect, this charge will be enhanced to a second-degree felony. I asked that Miss Jodi Bish not be allowed bail due to the severity of the injuries and the fact that DCFS has taken 4 of Miss Frankie's children into custody, Ruby Lou, and I have yet to speak with 2 of them. Let's see. Okay, now this one's about Eve. This is sad. 10-year-old Eve was found after Russell made contact with the police. Eve was found to be malnourished and it initially refused medical. After approximately 4 hours, she finally agreed to medical treatment. Paramedics arrived and transported her to the hospital where she was determined to be malnourished by medical professionals. Jodi Bish was found to be in the direct care of Eve Frankie. Oh, they were supposed to put EF there. Miss Jodi Bish informed me that Eve and Russell should never be allowed around any kids. That says that. So there's that document. I'm going to show these since I paid for them.
I mean, you should. You know what I'm waiting for, and it will happen eventually. I'm waiting for when they turn on each other. See, because
this is when she lost her license due to malpractice.
Oh dear.
That I found. That was let me see the date on this. 2019. So that I found.
Wow.
Say that again, honey. I'm sorry.
I said, what's going to be interesting, and it will happen, is when they turn on one another, because they will. Because the only defense that, and I'm saying this not as JennLu, the mom, the Grammy, just JennLu, the person who watches a buttload of trials and watches all kinds of stuff like this play out. What her only Ruby's only defense is going to be that she wasn't there. So in order for her to, and she's going to have to blame Jodi. And I think what her defense is probably going to be is that she was under as much control from Jodi as those children were. Watch and see.
Yeah. And I agree, WK. Welcome. It's scary that Jodi was, excuse me. It's scary that Jodi was driving around. That is so spooky. Yep, she was out looking for him. So this explains a little bit more about the charges. So each one of these wackadoodles have 6 charges. And they're all aggravated child abuse, but they're all a little bit different in the language. This one is physical injury, physical torture. This one's starvation or failure to thrive that jeopardizes the child's life. This one is emotional harm, serious developmental delay, or intellectual disability or impairment of the child's ability to function. Let's see. I mean, this one reads similar. Second-degree felony. Let's see. They're all second-degree felonies. Having the care or custody of such child caused or permitted another to inflict serious physical injury upon said child. Awful, awful, awful. Disgusting pieces of crap. Can't remember where to stop now.
Opinionated, yes. She pretty much admitted guilt when she blamed them to justify what was done. Yes, but that's before she got in. You know what I'm saying? We have to wait and see how the trial process goes because people change. And I have a sneaking suspicion that she's going to flip this and she's going to blame Jodi. Because I can't really see her walking into a courtroom with an attorney and the attorney, letting her say, well, it's the kid's fault. Like, that's not going to fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one on Ruby details the fact that she was seen on a YouTube video filmed in Jodi's house downstairs, which was posted 2 days ago. This observation adds to Miss Frankie, the mother, having knowledge of the abuse, malnourished, neglect. She also requested a lawyer and did not speak with the police.
Yeah, see, I think she's going to say, I was under duress. You know what I mean? Like, I was not duress. That's not the right word. I was under the influence of Jodi. Jodi convinced me that this was the right thing to do for the children. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think she's going to do.
Yeah. That is scary, isn't it?
It is.
She's probably totally going to do that.
Because I don't really see, I mean, let me be clear. In my opinion, as a human being, there is no defense for this. But that doesn't mean that's not that courtrooms have no room for feelings. You know what I mean? It's all about facts and evidence. So the only thing that I can think of that she could possibly use to mount as a defense is that because of Jodi's knowledge of psychology, she is super equipped to control somebody, and that's exactly what she did. That's what I think. That's what I think she's going to claim. Yeah. Not that I don't think a jury is going to buy it, but that's just what I think. I don't know. That's what I think now. Is subject to change.
The thing is, this wackadoodle here was already a wackadoodle abusing, neglecting, and exploiting her children. Her exploitation turned into full-blown abuse. Then she met this wackadoodle, and this wackadoodle convinced her that an appropriate punishment for the children acting out, trying to be normal kids, was to isolate them at Jodi's house.
Right.
They were both trapped in the bathroom. That's where they've been kept. Up in the bathroom is where they were found, or where the little girl had been locked in the bathroom. They weren't allowed to see other children. That was their punishment. And that's why Russell said that what was happening to him was his fault. Exactly opinionated.
So heartbreaking to hear.
Both sociopaths, so neither will take the bullet for the other. Absolutely. Full-blown narcissist.
Yeah, they're going to blame. They're going to finger point. It's going to be the other person's fault.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It is sad. It's so sad.
I heard it.
It's so sad to hear a child in those conditions say that they deserve it.
Yes, it does, WK, it does. Do you need me to, let me know if you need me to pull that back up again, I can. Blame them to justify, yeah. She pretty much admitted guilt when she blamed them to justify what was done. Okay, MK, good night.
Good night, MK. I thought that's what they said, WK, I thought that's what I heard too, that they were both locked in the safe room, and that safe room was something that was described, I think, by, I feel like Chad had said it in a video.
Speaking of Chad, he was in the WebEx today.
Wait, Chad is the dad, the older child, the oldest child. That's
the
Chad,
dad
right?
Is wait.
See, don't have me back, CrimeSleuthin, because I'll just mess you up.
No, I'm honestly confused because I thought Chad was the son, the oldest son. Hold on. Now, it's okay. I'll figure it. Hang on just a moment.
Bust out the Googles because JennLu done messed you up. I'm sorry.
Ruby and spouse. I know it. It's just.
And y'all will have to excuse me because
Kevin.
Kevin is the husband?
Yes. Chad
Okay.
is the oldest
Chad
son.
is the kid. Okay, is the oldest son. Okay. You guys will have to excuse me because like I said, I have
I don't
watched,
know all
but
the names
not
in,
deep dug.
The Letitia case and the Sarah Boone case. I don't know all the names. It's okay.
Well,
But
I mean, there's not a whole lot.
In the WebEx today. I thought that was interesting that he was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting, particularly the timing of it, because a video, has resurfaced and it has been played now all over. Law and Crime has played it. I think Court TV has played it as well. It is a video of him explaining how he didn't have a bed. He slept on a beanbag for several months.
Yep. And Amy, is that Kevin was there as well? I didn't know that. There were so many names that flooded in at once. I didn't catch all of them. Let's see.
I'm telling you right now, you should give this girl extra props for being in that WebEx, because I'm telling you right now, I could not have done it. It was so chaotic. Even when I just tuned into Law and Crime and heard the chaos, it was overstimulating for me. I was like, I had to like turn it way down. And then the chat was flying, and because there were like 40,000 people in Law and Crime's chat.
40,000?
Yes.
I saw in the screenshot, I got a couple of screenshots when I was in there too. When
that's
what's that other big channel? I saw him on camera.
Oh gosh.
You know who I'm talking about. Hold on, let me see if I find it here. You know what? I think I took those screenshots on my phone. Never mind.
WK is yes, that's the I didn't watch it on Hidden True Crime. I watched it on Mormon Stories podcast. I have to tell you guys both, those channels are excellent.
It is actually illegal to make your child miss food. It is illegal. It is considered neglect if you deliberately withhold food. Now, in the case, where there's a hungry family, what typically happens is the mom will eat less to give to the children, you know? But just flat out
withholding food from your children is neglect.
Is it illegal or not to make your child sleep on the floor? I think it kind of depends on the circumstance, right? I know because with Chad, for example, his bed was taken away as punishment, and he was made to sleep on a beanbag in the bathroom for 7 months.
He lost his room. He didn't even have a room. I don't know. I will say this. There are laws, like, for example, if you rent an apartment or a home, okay, there are laws about how many people can live in that home, right? And that the children, there must be a bedroom for the children, and that at a certain age, and it's different state by state, that opposite sex children cannot share a room. They can when they're up until a certain age, and every child must have a bed. Like, I think that honestly, what we should do, if we want to know what the laws are, what we should do is pull up like the requirements to say for Utah, say if you wanted to be a foster parent, because they make you follow the laws. So if there is a law about having an actual bed or an actual bedroom, it would be with like the requirements to become a foster parent. I would imagine that a bed of some sort is a requirement. Like, I think that's part of raising a child. I know that food and shelter are a necessity, but I don't know that, of course, I would have my children in a bed, right? But I don't know if there's an actual law that states that your child has to have a bed. I don't know. There should be. But then what about it? What about like people who are just really, really poor and like they have sleeping bags on the floor. They've got the food, they've got the shelter. I
think it depends on the circumstances. In cases like that, you don't have one child that's sleeping on the floor, and the rest of the children have bedrooms and beds. That they were targeting him for 7 months. Right.
That's different.
He had a bed. They took it.
Right. And then they moved into a different home. And when they moved into a different home, he got like the smaller bedroom and was sleeping on the beanbag. And if you watch that video, what I found to be interesting is, I think, of course, it was clipped. So you're not missing context, but what the title of the video, the original video on YouTube, is Things We Don't Tell Our Fans, or Things We Don't Tell the people who watch us, things that they don't know. And this is when the mom and Chad were having a conversation. And he goes to start to explain the reason why his bed and his bedroom were taken away from him. And he says, it's interesting what he says, because he says, well, this is what I came to in my head. And he says that he had woken up his younger brother, I don't know, like 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that, and told him that they were going to Disneyland or Disney World and to pack a suitcase. And then what's interesting is the exchange between the mom and him, because then the mom she's laughing about this, right? But yet she's laughing about the story, right? As if the story is funny, but she was but what he did was so egregious that he had to lose his bed. And then he lost his bedroom for pointing a BB gun at his brother's face. And there's something about that story that doesn't ring true. If you live in an environment where playing a prank on your brother or one of your siblings is the punishment for that is so severe that why would you you know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like that would be something that he would do. Do you follow what I'm trying to say here? There's something about it doesn't seem like that's what he did. It feels like probably what happened is the Disney thing is probably true. He did probably prank his little brother. But
I have that clip and now I can't find it.
Oh no.
I downloaded it.
Play it from Law and Crime if you want to. It's fair use.
Let's see if it's in this one.
It's just first of all, it's filmed weird.
Actually, a tongue lashing that will not ever be repeated nor recorded. I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple of weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that. You're just sleeping on a beanbag.
I'm sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago.
Hold those for me. If you cut one more thing in my house, I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off. We don't allow our children to have sleepovers.
It's a different world.
It's a different world we live in now. Sorry. I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school?
This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch, because then she's not going to learn from the natural outcome. My hope is that she'll be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful being hungry all day. I will make sure to always have a lunch with me.
Yeah, the clip that I got was shorter. I have the full clip somewhere where right after he says this, everybody laughs, and then she comes back and says, oh, well, if you think it's funny, I'll just do it again. I'll take away your bed again.
Exactly. It's so I think most parents would agree, children, there's consequences for your behavior. I think that's just like a lesson. That's just a life lesson, right? And some consequences are good and some consequences are bad. But you have to, I would think, if it were me, you have to take into consideration the age of the child. If, at 6 years old, kids still need to, you got to have follow-up. You don't, I understand the goal of raising children is they're supposed to become productive members of society. And it's a very fine line. And all of us parents struggle with that fine line every day about, hovering too much, or we want them to be successful and be able to be independent. And I get that. But it would be different if she chose not to eat her lunch, right? And then the natural consequence of not eating, of choosing not to eat, is that you are hungry. That's very different than being forgetful.
Exactly. And I went through that with two of mine so far, even with my 12-year-old. I think it was my youngest. He wanted me to pack his lunches, so I did, but I would always pack him pretty healthy lunches. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And he didn't like that. He wanted the cool lunches like other people, Lunchables and cookies and, all that junk. And I just wouldn't send any of that. I'm like, if I'm going to pay money to send your lunches, which costs more than, eating at school, then you're going to eat a good lunch. And he would come home starving, what happened to your lunch? I just didn't want it. I didn't eat it, but I'm starving. Now I want a big snack. And of course I'd let him have a snack, but like, you got to eat the school lunches from now on. So switched over to school lunches and he was fine after that. He didn't complain. He's like, I had no idea they had, good stuff. And then did the same thing with this one. She did the exact same thing. It was the cool thing to bring your lunch. But the other kids who brought their lunches, they were bringing so much junk. And I was like, she's one of those that's very susceptible to high amounts of sugar and high amounts of red dye. Yeah. And that's all they wanted, Right. So I was like, nope, forget it. You're going on school lunches too, because I can't make a lunch that pleases you. So you come home hungry.
Exactly. I mean, you have to,
or throw it away. Yeah.
Right. So you make adjustments, it's part of life. And I think that so when my kids were young, I would go and have lunch with them. And I remember going to have lunch with my youngest, my little mini Bendy. And I had asked her in the morning before she went to school, what do you want me to get? And I still crave them. I don't know why. Don't judge. Are you guys ready? She wanted the crispy chicken salad from McDonald's. I don't know if y'all have ever had that because they don't make it anymore, but it's freaking delicious.
You know what I like now? I know this is weird, but the dollar store makes these little salads. the ones that have the little grocery section in the stores now.
Oh,
But they
okay.
make giant Cobb salad that is so good. And
Oh,
I'll
I
go
don't.
at least twice a week usually and grab me a couple of those because they're so good. It's got literally just the right amount of everything in there that I love.
I love a good salad.
And all the vegetables and everything kind of together. And then I put about a gallon of ranch dressing on it, you know.
Well, you're from the South. You need the ranch.
Yes, absolutely.
People don't.
So Amy brought up a really good comment. And
Okay.
This is so true. She said the records show police responded to the home more than a dozen times during the last 4.5 years. Several of those visits were related to concerns about the children's well-being. What would happen is she would just basically tell the police everything's fine and not let them come in. They weren't allowed to interview the children. Nothing. She would just send them away. And because she lived in this giant home, the police just basically, I guess, turned a blind eye. I don't know.
Well,
and AJ says, my girls had to sleep on a mattress on the floor in their shared bedroom when I first left their father till I could afford beds. Too poor. Girl, we have all been there.
We've all been there. This is not okay. We're talking about, right. We're talking about, you see the home. I mean, you can see in their videos the kind of home that they live in. These people are not hurting for money. And it's not like they couldn't afford a bed. They took the bed. That's different. And they were on a mattress. A mattress is a bed.
Exactly.
You know, and the thing of it is, I think what likely happened is she probably said, I do a YouTube channel and I have people that love me and I have people that don't. And these people, you know, they call and they make these reports and see I would imagine that probably not their specific police station, but I mean, you guys, we've all been around YouTube for a minute. You know, we've heard the stories of, you know, people getting CPS called on them because they're in a war with another YouTuber. You know what I mean? And so this is why I've been saying for the longest time, this is why you never use CPS as a dang weapon, because then it desensitizes the system and they believe. It's just messed up.
Somebody said it sounds like, I forgot who said it, that they really dropped the ball. Amy said, seems like they really dropped the ball on these kids. And that is so true. I mean, just because, you know, they live in this fancy house, abuse happens. It's not a money thing. Hold on, I get a drink of my water.
Yeah, having money does not preclude people from being susceptible to being to living in dysfunction and abuse.
Yes, and I think in this case it actually made it worse.
I think so
Because if
too.
you go back to, and like I was telling you, you can still go back and watch the videos on their YouTube channel. You just have to use the Wayback Machine to do it. At the very beginning, she was very sweet and kind and just a different vibe with the children. And then as her channel grew, 2.5 million subscribers, she was out of control. Her whole life, she was addicted to making these videos and stuff. And the children understood it to be their job as well. That was everybody's job, to participate in mom's channel. And that's all she cared about. She did this until she was completely disconnected emotionally and maternally from her children. And then it turned, you know, more, it was starting with, you know, neglect and the addiction she had. And that turned into kind of she had no real feelings anymore for her children. And then I think she became resentful, and then the abuse started. That's kind of where it started. She was already a narcissist in the first place, but it just kind of grew and festered and festered. The people had been trying to ring the alarm about this family for years. And opinionated says CPS goes into rat-infested drug dens where children have been beaten, So in comparison, they probably thought things looked fine. And they got to stop doing that.
Right. They got to quit assuming that affluence means that that money solves things. It doesn't. There are homes and they have no money, and there's so much love in that home. And then there's homes that have an abundance of money and no love.
Absolutely. And
just sad.
And Opinionated says, but CPS has a pretty high bar for removing children. That's true, but they can still get them services without removing them.
Right. They should have been investigated. You know what I'm saying? The children should have been spoken to see what was going on. And that, you know, that is the job of CPS, is to investigate every, you know, call. It's just sad. You know, there's another case that hasn't made the headlines, and I'll have to, I just sort of watched it, not glazed over it, just watched it briefly, where the mom videoed her kids all the time, right? But she only videoed, I think, 3 of the 4 children, or I feel like it was twins. It was twins that she starved. And one of the videos that they posted when they were talking about this case is the family. They're sitting down at the dinner table and they're eating steak. And if you don't know anything about the case and you just watch the video in and of itself is unsettling, because the kids that are sitting at the dinner table look uncomfortable. And if you, but listening and, you know, but then knowing the context of it, there were siblings that were literally being starved down the hall from where they were eating dinner.
I'm looking for. Okay, where did it go? I'm looking for my history of when I was just on. Somebody in chat just asked. I'm looking for maybe.
Oh, the Wayback Machine.
Nope. Yeah.
It's just this whole situation, and I was telling CrimeSleuthin earlier that I wanted to watch the videos because, and then this is when she was telling me about the Wayback Machine, because I'm very curious as to when this escalated.
Exactly. Me too. Where did it go wrong?
Exactly. And I would really like to know how Ruby and Jodi met up, how they found each other. Because it just feels like the perfect freaking storm. Honestly, it does.
Of course. Can't find it now. 3rd. Feels like my history's off. Okay, let me just go straight through my history instead of searching my history. Maybe that'll work.
Okay.
Because I have a whole bunch of them. It should be a whole string of them here. And just when I find it. Goodness. You can, the Wayback Machine archives website. So even if you delete stuff, it's still there. You can still access it. Like if you ever had a home page, for example, I'm not going to show you guys because it's got my, you know, my name and all that stuff on there. Because back in the early days of the internet, you could have your name and things like that online. It wasn't that big a deal. Nobody really knew anybody. And so my original homepage was on a website. Do you remember GeoCities?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, I had a little homepage there and it was so cute. And it's still there. You can still search.
Yeah, I mean, when they said that the internet is forever, they were not playing. It wasn't a joke.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you
all
can pay to have stuff scrubbed, but I don't know if they scrub it from the Wayback Machine.
They can't. The Wayback Machine, I looked in their terms of service and they don't do that. You can't ask them. It's automatically, here's all the flight radar stuff from the manhunt. My gosh. Okay. I'm going to find it, y'all, because I want to show them what the website used to look like. I mean, I've got screenshots that I took, but I want to show you literally how it works on this. And you can like search for people on here and look at all documents and websites that a person is mentioned on. It's incredible what you can find on the Wayback Machine. I use it when I want to really dig on something or somebody. It's all there. Okay, let's see. How far back am I gone now? Okay, it's going to be right up in here, I believe. I only spent like a couple of days on this. So, but once I see it, there's going to be a whole string of them, and I'll know I'm at the right spot. I really dug. Because you have to not just find the archive, but then you have to go into each one. And I'll show you if I can find it here. I know I have the original URL somewhere too. You know what?
So it's like a whole thing, huh?
Yeah. 8 Passengers YouTube. All I need is, my goodness, there's so many people talking about it that can't find the original YouTube. Not here. Good grief. Okay, so it was right before this one, before the latest Murdaugh stuff came out. I do so much research on all these cases that it's a mess of history. Everything that I'm constantly looking at.
Yeah, but that's good that you. Yeah, but that's good though. You do such a thorough job, you know? That's a good thing.
You do too.
Not like this.
You do too. I feel like I learned a lot just on your last live.
Which one? The one about Boone or the one about Letitia?
Letitia.
Yeah, she's a mess, man.
That was
She's a monster. Thank you. She's an absolute monster. I have no patience for her whatsoever.
Okay, I give up on my history. I'm just going to go to my screenshots because I know I've got it in there.
Okay. Do what you got to do, babe.
So I took some screenshots while I was in there, which would probably tell me what day to go in my history as well, but I'm not going to do that. All right, so I'm used to using my big monitor as well, and these are so tiny.
Oh, yeah.
When I do a screenshot, it also takes a screenshot of both of my screens, which makes my little thumbnails even tinier. Okay, here we go. All right. So, yeah, I was watching Mallory's live while I was researching.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this is the way that machine. There's the URL. If I could just get it, I wish I could copy it, but all you need is somebody's original URL, and you put it in the Wayback Machine, and it pops up a whole log, and then you just pick a date. And
that's crazy.
that one. Let's see. I'll go this way. That's Sherry's YouTube, and it is still up. I wasn't meaning to screenshot Mallory stuff. Okay, it's still Sherry's. Okay, here's another one. She said, Oh, that was on the About page, actually. Things can get crazy with 6 active kids, but we can find true joy in the journey if we love and support each other. Welcome to 8 Passengers.
What happened to the love and support? Where did that go?
Right? She had a P.O. box on here. New videos every Tuesday through Sunday. Every day of the week. With occasional bonus videos on Monday. So
let me put this into perspective if you don't make videos. Okay. It's one thing to make to record, to film. Okay, that's one hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a very long time to edit. I will give you guys an example. I know exactly to the second how long my intro is. It is 3 minutes and 47 seconds. It took me 2 weeks.
2 minutes and 41 seconds.
Well, yeah, it's because I don't. You know why I know how long it is? Because that's how long the song is. I made it to the song. It took me 2 weeks to make that video. To edit it correctly, thank you so much. Thank you. I worked it took me a long time. And there were a lot of I would have a concept or an idea in my brain, and then I would try to get it and, execute it. It takes a long time. So for her to have been putting up, a live is one thing, a video is another.
Yes. I mean, granted, for me, I prefer videos, honestly. Lives are so unpredictable, like you just saw with me trying to dig through my history.
Or with my mouth and asking random questions that don't really have anything to do with anything, like that.
Yes.
Throwing you off, getting you all discombobulated.
Yeah, whoever did that in chat, it's your fault. No. This is how many times that the 8 Passengers was archived. Here's a little bit of their videos that they had up. Now, what's interesting is this is Ellie, her sister, and I used to follow her when my kids were younger. And then this
really?
Is, she's had a huge YouTube channel as well. 1.61 million subscribers back then. I haven't gone to it lately.
Wow.
And then Julie, her other sister, also has a family vlog just like her. It's a whole family thing.
Wow.
And her last, funny, they're talking about Christmas here, huh? Her last videos were, find them here. Here it is. No?
See, I wouldn't even know to look for the sister. And the reason why is because, like I said, family vlogs are not my thing. I like to watch true crime and I like to watch really trashy reality TV.
That's
what I like. And horror films and documentaries.
This is
I love
Chad.
a good doc.
This is Chad. And his YouTube is still there. I'm trying to find the last videos. You can probably hear my dogs back there.
Well, I was worried that you could hear my cats earlier. Mac and Alice are sitting here with me, and I don't know. Mac is. I love him. He's an instigator, though. He likes to get Alice worked up. And anybody that's ever been on my channel knows that Alice runs this whole household.
You can also pull up a YouTuber on Social Blade. So I pulled her up on Social Blade, and even though the YouTube has been shut off since I think January, she's still made up to $24,000 this year, just on views from that it was still there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of her. Look at the video. The views have still gone up. See.
Wow.
Views on all of that. She's still making. In that last 30 days, I think it was in January, she had 500,000 views. in 1 month.
That's a lot of, let me say this. So I get excited when I, hit 1,000 views on a video or a live, because that's when that's when you will make a little bit of ad revenue.
At what amount did you say again?
Like at 1,000, that's when you start making a little bit.
Yeah.
And by a little bit, I mean like $5-6. It depends.
Right.
It depends on who's watching. The more people you have with YouTube Premium, that you get a bigger cut. But when you get into the tens of thousands of views, we're talking, just ad revenue, no super chats, no super thanks, none of that, no memberships, nothing, straight AdSense revenue. It can be, upwards of $500 a month. That's AdSense revenue.
I have one video that hit 107K, and that was my video of the interview with Steve Gonsalves that got pulled down immediately. And so there wasn't very many places to find it, and apparently that people were finding it on my channel. That's the only one that I've gotten that's gotten any kind of huge amount. Everything else is 7,000 and way less. That's like my really big amounts is, I don't even look, but I think I saw 7 or 9 on a few, but
I only looked
it's
the other day because I got a little thing from YouTube saying they were going to change something about the ads, and they're going to, okay, so if you go to Studio and you monetize after, like it's different for a video, but if you turn your monetization on before the live, this doesn't affect you. But if you turn it on after the live and you have to decide where you want the ads to be, what kind of ads, they've changed it around a little bit. So you're supposed to make more money or whatever. It's supposed to be better for you as a creator. And so I was just curious what kind of revenue I was getting because I don't pay attention to that crap. I do a live, I have fun with you guys, I make a video, I premiere it, I have fun in the chat with you guys, and then it's over for me. That's it.
Yeah.
So I was just curious about it, and I'd be making like 10-15 cents, y'all. I'm not killing it in the YouTube AdSense revenue at all.
We're around the same subs, and it's exactly the same. I might make $1 on one.
Yeah. And what's the irony of it is that if you aren't monetized, YouTube will put ads. YouTube put ads on my videos way before I was ever monetized.
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't care whether it's monetized or not. Yeah, I don't even monetize a lot of mine, or because it's true crime. We say murder once or twice, and there goes your monetization anyway. And they're still going to run the ads. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, YouTube is going to make their cut.
And now, Amy, I was just looking for that screenshot as well. It's in my last live. But yes, that is true. Let me pull her up.
Yeah, do it. I was curious about that too.
I had her up here. I can type. Ruby, I think it's Fraser. Hang on. There's another name in there. Griffiths. There it is. Okay. So if you go to her thing, and this is really her, January 1st, she had in a relationship with Hildebrandt. However, then later in June, she changed it to that. It's just weird.
What does it say? I can't.
Oh, let me get this off here.
Oh, married. I see.
And then, but down here, see, it's where it says in a relationship with Jodi Hildebrandt.
Yes, I see now. Yes.
And so people were,
wow.
What does that mean? But now it doesn't even say married. It says just in a relationship.
I thought they were going through a divorce. Her and Kevin.
Yeah, he moved out last fall. Yeah, this is hers.
Wow.
Crazy.
I just would like to know how her and Jodi connected because, she's allegedly her business partner. They're business partners or whatever in that ConneXions podcast or whatever the hell it is that they do.
Yeah, I would be interested, like, where did they meet? Probably at some sort of a religious function, I would imagine. WK says her kids should get all the money. Could not agree more.
Yes, they should.
Ooh, that's interesting. I have not dug on Jodi on the way back.
Ooh.
K Ranch. Yep, that's where she started. Yep. And I noticed that when I saw that she had her little history thing up on her channel, she kind of brushed over her time at Sir K Ranch. But that was where she got, there was a patient there, and she revealed information about him, and I think him being gay or something, and was insulting and everything. And that was, she got fired and got in big trouble. And then after that, they filed a malpractice.
Wow.
Malpractice, and that's when she lost her license. And then she just moved straight into ConneXions. So, oh, by the way, y'all like the jail cell I set up for these two?
It's nicer than what I would give them.
Ruby Doo and Jodi Bish forever. I gave them, I was nice. I don't know if we can, hang on. Well, you saw it on my screen hang on. I was nice and gave him a roll of toilet paper.
Well, that was nice of you. That was generous. See, I would say that they have to sleep on, I would take those bunks right out and make them just sleep on them thin ass mattresses, you've got to earn the frame.
For me, this was almost therapeutic, because I have all this anger towards them,
Right.
And so it kind of feels like I'm making fun of them, in a way, but it's
right.
Therapeutic to just let it out with, art, for lack of a better term.
There you go.
Yes. Fluffy pillows. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, they should just get the mattress. That's it. Not even a cover. No blankets. No nothing. Or she should be made to sleep on a beanbag, like, she did her son.
Yes, that is appropriate. I really believe in the punishment fitting the crime. They should be sitting around with duct tape on them and, withhold some meals. Show them how it feels.
Right.
I guarantee you, this lady has never missed a meal.
No, she has not.
Never missed a meal, ever. And then Ruby was so self-absorbed, she probably was a vegan for all we know. She's super skinny. But you could tell Jodi's never passed by a McDonald's without stopping. And she can't blame it on the Big Macs either from Burger King. Like, who was that was saying? Wasn't there somebody that was claiming? Oh, now I went blank on who it was. Somebody was claiming that Burger King food. What was that?
I don't know, babe. I don't know.
That somehow it messed with their mind. Eating too much fast food made them crazy or something. It was so stupid. It was just stupid.
Well, you know what? Speaking of food, I've been listening to the calls of from Letitia before she went to trial. So while she's in El Paso County awaiting trial, and she talks about how she doesn't want to eat because she's afraid they're going to poison her. Blah 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 blah. Right. Well, I don't know what made me do this, but
that's the least of her worries.
She says that all she is eating or all she has in there as far for nourishment or whatever, sustenance is Ensure. And the thing of it is, and she's like, how I have my stomach troubles and blah, 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 blah. Right. But I've seen people who are put on Ensure as a meal replacement for them to gain weight. And sometimes they don't on it. But here comes Letitia, she's, can't eat anything. And she's plumped up there since she's been in lockup. And I'm not weight shaming her. I'm just making an observation. She acted like she was on some kind of, ridiculous, I don't know, hunger strike or whatever. And she could barely keep anything down. And at every phone call, you hear her talking about the food, about how she, can't eat and her stomach is messed up and all those things. And I'm just thinking to myself, how messed up could your stomach be? You've gained weight.
Oh my.
Just more exaggerations from Letitia. I don't know why I'm surprised that she lied or exaggerated or whatever. I don't know. Every once in a while she'll come out with something and it'll shock me all over again. Just like I think I can't hear anything more shocking from Letitia or be surprised anymore. And that bitch is forever like, hold my beer, and she'll do something even more outlandish and ridiculous.
If you guys are not familiar with this case, please go check out her channel. If somebody could get her link for me, I would really appreciate it. JennLu, I think here in the next, I think pretty soon we're going to have a little race. Let's race to 10K or something. That'd be fun. She's got a really great channel, you guys. You got to go check it out. She's very sweet. She's very funny. She can roast like nobody's business. When you roasted Alex Murdaugh, I almost peed my pants. It was the funniest thing.
Thank you. Those are one of my favorite lives, just because there are certain criminals, okay, that the jokes really write themselves. The things that they say and do when they're trying to outsmart law enforcement, I can't help but, it makes me laugh every time. Like, most people think before they speak, right? I mean, you do it subconsciously. Other people spend more time actually thinking and reviewing, and it's more of a conscious thing. But some of the stuff that comes out of these people's mouths, that they're, especially in an interrogation situation, you can see that the wheel is turning, right? And whatever messed up thing that just came out of their mouth, like, you want to ask them, that's the thought that won. You decided to put those words in that order, and that's the one that was the winner for you. That's what you think is the best idea to say at this time. And it just always amazes me, the lengths that people will go to try to get out of shit. And it's but they're lazy about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I haven't gotten a chance to ask you this. Do you think that Al is going to get a new trial?
Well, I at first thought he might. However, I have been hearing some things that I need to verify for myself about the actual affidavits. For example, I was listening to one channel, and she is an attorney, and she was reading it. Now I can't remember her name. It's not Emily or any of the people that, we talk about a lot or watch frequently. She's also got a great channel, and I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not knowing her name. But anyway.
Is it Harvard Lee by chance?
Is it what?
Harvard Lee?
It might be. It might be. But anyways, she was reading the actual documents, okay, the actual filing, all right? And one of the affidavits is basically hearsay. It is a conversation that two jurors had about what the clerk of courts said, and that's actually what hearsay is, because it shouldn't be admissible, because it goes to the truth of the matter. which is which is jury tampering, which is what the clerk is being accused of. And this is not a firsthand account. This is an account of something.
It was the paralegal who did that. It was the paralegal's affidavit. The other two are from jurors.
Right. No. That's one.
From the
one
paralegal
is
who talked to two of them who wouldn't sign an affidavit, so she
right.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be considered. If they were not willing to come forward and sign the affidavit, then whatever it is they have to say, I don't like Alec Murdoch, and I don't think that I'll do it. I don't really want to.
Looking forward to hearing Pawpaw and all that again.
Well, I'm not really looking. It's his testimony that I'm not looking forward to.
Her cell phone didn't die, did it?
I don't think so. Oh, I got bumped off the Wi-Fi is updating. Anyway, you can't trust anybody that sniffs up their snot and then swallows it. You just cannot. And he does that all the time. I can't go through that again. However, I do believe in our trial, in our process, in our justice system in the United States, and we are afforded the right to a fair trial. And jury tampering is one of the worst things that can happen, aside from like somebody who is innocent being convicted. So
WK is asking, so what's the new stuff with Alex blaming court reporter? It's not, it's the clerk of courts. And two jurors signed affidavits that she was coercing them, basically telling them not to believe Alex's testimony, to watch him closely, blah, blah, blah. I have a video up on that, I think I have a video up on that. And then the third affidavit is from the law firm's paralegal who spoke to the others. The purpose of that, I think, was to bring it to the judge's attention that those people need to be subpoenaed, I guess, for a hearing. So they're going to have a hearing on it, and we'll just see what happens. But I mean, if it's true, if she really did those things, you know, they're saying that she did these things so she could write her book, which she did release, and to make money. So if she did those things, she wouldn't have been able to do that if he would have gotten acquitted, right? So she had a motive to push everybody towards guilty. And then she also
would still be interested, I think, if he would have been acquitted. The problem is that she didn't want a mistrial. But because you need resolution one way or the other on a trial in order to write about it, right?
Exactly,
so
right.
She not only did she want resolution, but she wanted a specific resolution. She wanted him to be found guilty, allegedly. Mm-hmm. I find the whole thing unsettling. I'm concerned about it.
Because if it's not true, then this is just a big waste of time, a big nothing burger. But if it is true, then it's very concerning. And
why did they wait so long, though, to come forward? Why didn't they tell the judge immediately? Hell, when he dismissed the egg lady, which she is one of the jurors who's alleging this, when he dismissed the egg lady, why didn't she just blow the whole thing up right then and there and say, hey, by the way, the clerk over here, she's been in the jury room and telling us this, that, and the third, and stop it right there, nip it right in the bud. Why didn't she do that?
She thought that she did, but she's very timid. It's in one of the affidavits, or her affidavit actually, that she was asked if she had conversations with Becky, and she said that she had. You'll have to go back, read hers again specifically, because they're trying to explain it that she thought she had told, but she just thought, well, maybe I guess it's not a big deal because nobody cares, you know, and she just left and went on her way.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I need to read the actual documents myself to see what it is. But at this moment, like you're asking me right now, I have some concerns about it. Either way, it's not good.
Yeah, either way.
You know, jury tampering is just, and she's elected, and ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's not good. It's definitely not good. So I'm keeping an eye on it to see what happens, but
yeah,
just never know. Can't wait to see if there's going to be when the hearing date is, because I'm sure there's going to be a hearing on it.
I'm curious as to who will be hearing it, because it can't be Judge Newman.
It cannot be.
Because he could be. Honestly, he's potentially a witness.
He would be a witness, right?
So he can't foresee it.
If anybody is still in here who has not subscribed, please do. And again, please go check out Jen's channel as well. I am going to call it a night.
Yeah. Well, we were on here for a couple hours. We did good. It was fun. Thank you so much for having me. Your chat was great.
Thank you. Yeah, you're awesome. Thank you so much. This was cool. I didn't play a couple of the clips that I could have because they were even worse than the RAPE one. And I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna go there. That was as bad as I can take personally. It sickens me.
Yeah, that was bad.
I didn't play all the 911 call, but it is on my channel if anybody wants to watch it.
Yeah.
Listen to it, but I'll never listen to it again. It's just too hard, especially when the neighbor got choked up. The first time I heard it, I had to stop and get a good cry out. It was just awful.
I think because you could understand. Okay, so it's like a real time. It captured what he was discovering in real time. Like initially, he's calling 911 because the child told him to, and then he brings the kid in, which is what you should do, right? And he didn't hesitate. He didn't, but then he starts looking at the child and he's realizing, oh my God, like this is really messed up. This kid's been through some stuff,
Thank you, EJ. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I'm at the point where I need to go watch some puppy videos or something for a little bit. And
there you go.
Something to
take your mind off of it. This is a hard case. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to get off of here because I'll keep interrupting and it'll take you forever to say goodbye. But thank you for having me so much. I appreciate it. I had such a good time.
Thank you. Well, I'll come over there and visit you real soon.
Yes.
You come back
All
now.
Right. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye, Jen. See you later. Well, you guys, I'm going to play my favorite puppy video, and then I'm going to be out of here. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. Have a lovely rest of your night, and I will see you later. If you're watching on the replay crew, thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Hey, all y'all. How y'all doing today? All y'all have a good day.